I don't know about you, but I only trust the best. So if you're looking at getting your roof checked out, redone, these are the guys that can help you. Belter Roofing and Construction, they are the best. They'll come out, do a free inspection. You can trust them with your roof. Call them, Belter Roofing and Construction. 405-952-7777. That's Belter Roofing and Construction.
This is the Jake for the State podcast, and this is the call for every red-blooded, God-fearing, liberty-loving patriot to prepare yourself, take your position, stand your ground, and advance the cause of freedom. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Jake for the State podcast. Appreciate you tuning in. We are covering a lot of candidates across the state right now, running for all different kinds of positions, whether it be for the House or the Senate, county clerk, or sheriff. And today I have my home county sheriff with me today, Mr. Gary Boggess. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
You bet. Well, as I said off air, I've been intending to get with you for so long since we recently moved to Grady County, because I stress the importance all the time on my show of engaging with your county sheriff, getting to know your local officials. So important. Tell me about that, about your engagement with the people in the district.
You know, I love to get out and visit with the people. During my campaign here, I've had some meet and greets, have people come out and, just kind of give me their concerns of what they're wanting from my office, and we try to accommodate that.
Well, I think there's probably no more important office than the county sheriff, especially in the day we're in. And a concern I'm hearing all the time from people, also a concern of mine, is we're seeing moves from the ATF. We have concerns about the FBI, especially with the highlighted Mar-a-Lago raid.
Yes.
And the question is, hey, if that happened in my county, would my sheriff be there for me? And what does that process look like? So are you hearing from people with the same concerns?
Yeah, absolutely. I have folks calling in about the ATF rules. ATF, they make rules. We don't enforce rules. Constitutionally, we can't enforce rules. For ATF to come in and, number one, they have to come through the sheriff's office. What people don't understand is the sheriff is the number one law enforcement official in this county. Anybody that's in our county, as far as local law enforcement, they have to work with our office. As far as a rule goes, unless it goes to the House and the Congress and the President of the United States passes it, it's just a rule. We don't enforce rules. Constitutionally, we can't enforce rules. And the ATF's not going to come in here and enforce rules. It's not going to happen.
But that's, I think, comforting for a lot of people to hear. And what does that look like? What does that process look like? Does the ATF give your office a call and say, hey, we're about to enter Grady County? Do they have to check in at your office physically? What does that look like?
No, they don't have to check in my office physically. If they're going to come in and say they have a warrant for somebody's arrest or a search warrant, to go search somebody's house, number one, I would practice is they need to get with me to let me know what's going on. Kind of like OBN, OSBI, we don't get involved in their cases unless they ask for our assistance. But like with OBN, we work really good with them, state agency. The director and I are really good friends. Anything they do in this county, I know what's going on. That way, if they need help, then we're there to help them. With our federal agencies, I've reached out to each and every one of them and told them, hey, if you need help, you call. We're going to be right there to help you, as long as it's constitutionally legal and we can, by law, we can be there.
Well, I think on everybody's mind as well is the issue of illegal immigration, and thinking about how every state is a border state and thinking about how it's impacting us here in the state of Oklahoma. Are you encountering, is your office encountering many, if any, illegals in Grady County?
There's we have marijuana grows, and that law was actually wrote up for this. for the illegal marijuana grows, because they do have illegal immigrants in here working. You have the Chinese in here, you have the Mexicans in here, you have cartels in here. That's basically for that. You do have some that, some illegals that are in the county that are out here working, have their family here. We're not going to mess with them. We don't have time for that. We have other things that's more important. Uh, and it's like I've explained. I've had some people call me and say, "Hey, I have this guy working for me," and it's like I tell them, get the paperwork, do it legal, start their immigration process. As long as they've got a process starting, we're like I said, we're not going to go out here and start just arresting everybody that's illegal. Like I
Right.
said, number one, my jail administrator over here would get really upset with me because we'd fill that jail up. Uh, you know, but the marijuana grows is the biggest thing. The illegal marijuana grows is what we're looking at. Because you've got human trafficking going in those illegal marijuana grows, money laundering. There's so much illegal activity that goes on these illegal marijuana grows. OSBI and OMMA is working, diligently to get these places closed down, along with
Hmm.
their sheriff's agents offices. You know, there was a grow that was hit up in Minko, and I called the director. I was like, hey, I knew nothing about this. Well, come to find out, it was in Canadian County. It was actually in Sheriff West's county. So, but we work really good with them because when they do these raids, we go out with them. Number one, support security aspects. While they're in there doing their job, I have all of my deputies out on the perimeters, making sure that they're protected inside. We did some marijuana grows that the FBI's come in, and hit them because of the cartel and the links back to Russia and China.
How long have you been in the office of sheriff?
I was appointed back February of 23. I've been here since May of 21. I would come in as the undersheriff. Sheriff Weir brought me in as his undersheriff, and then he retired. The county commissioners appointed me. So I've been in here just a little over a year. And now that year, of course, I was diagnosed with cancer. Um, and I had about a 7-year fight with cancer doing chemo, but I still worked. I worked from home a lot. As a sheriff, I've got that kind of leisure that I can work from home and still run my operations. My undersheriff did an awesome job when I was out, but I've been in law enforcement, over 35 years plus now. Um, so, I mean, I have a good background. I've worked for Oklahoma County when I first started after the military. I served over in Desert Storm, the first one, and um, I got out and I got in law enforcement in Oklahoma County, went to Oklahoma Capitol Patrol. Um, I was actually assigned to the executive bodyguard detail for the governor for a while.
Which
Then
governor was that?
Governor Keating, Frank
Keating.
Keating,
Okay.
awesome, awesome detail, loved it. Then I was hired on by Newcastle. I spent 23 and a half years there. Retired as the assistant police chief, and whenever Sheriff Weir wanted me to come over here, and I love this. I love what I'm doing. The sheriff's position. Uh, this is my last kick. This will be my third retirement with my VA military stuff. So this is my last little kick here, and I'm going to try to do about 10 or 12 years, and then that'll be time to hang it up and go enjoy the lake.
Right. Uh, well, I'm curious about your experience with the marijuana grows, kind of going back to that. What you've seen over the last few years since it was initially legalized here in the state, kind of the Wild West for a while, and then I was
Absolutely.
part of in the Senate. I was part of voting on some legislation that helped bring regulation. Are we seeing less Wild West in Oklahoma with the more regulation around that area?
It is, when we first came in, with the marijuana, you're exactly right. It was a wild west. I mean, they were going up, popping up everywhere. They had some attorneys that were doing some illegal stuff that kind of got caught up in it, and they're having to pay for that now legally. But it's getting more controlled. it's still not under control. I mean, there's still some out here. There's still quite a few out here. Uh, I think whenever we did this, when the state did this, they didn't really slow down because of the push that we had from, other people out here that was wanting this to go through. If we had looked more like what California was doing, because the cost of the license out in California is, I mean, it's about $250,000
Right.
for your license. I think in the whole state of California, and this is just a guesstimate on my part, I think there's about 60 marijuana grows out there because they're so regulated. They do so many inspections. They have to pay taxes on each one of those plants 2 or 3 times a year. So it keeps it under control. We're here, and at one time, Grady County had the most marijuana grows in the state of Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
Which is not something that, as a sheriff, I'm proud of, because a lot of them are illegals, and that's what we're trying to do, is get those under control and stop that. We could probably hit marijuana grows every day and still, one will go out, one will come in. We still need to tighten down, I think, as far as on the stipulations and the regulation part of this.
Right. And then, of course, we have the push to legalize recreational, which,
Yes.
I've been very opposed to as well. Just, what would that do in Grady County and across the state if we did see that open up for recreational?
You'd see more of the DUI, DID, driving under the influence of drugs. You'd see more of the increase of that, more fatality accidents. Colorado, their accident death went up whenever they did that. It shot through the roof, actually. So, we'd see more of that. People wanting to get out here and, smoke their marijuana and go drive. It's just as bad as alcohol. It's like, just because you have a marijuana card doesn't, and we see that now. We'll stop somebody and be like, well, I've got my marijuana card. Well, that doesn't give you the right to drive. It's still a driving under the influence of drugs. They still get arrested and go through the process. I think with, recreational marijuana, I think we're going to see an increase of that. And that's something that we do not need to see in this state.
Well, speaking of the state, recently lawmakers, they allocated $18 million to pay for county sheriff operations
Yes.
and create a minimum for salaries.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on this? Because it's a recent kind of breaking news here in the state of Oklahoma.
I will actually be at the state capitol tomorrow on this. It's going in front of, I believe, the Senate for vote. We're
Right.
going to
Past the House, I guess it's now in the
Yes.
Senate. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to the Oklahoma Sheriff's Association. A lot of us sheriffs and undersheriffs are going to be at the Capitol in the morning to just show our support for this. And for my county and my deputies make really good money. Whenever I first came in, I went to Sheriff Weir about a pay raise for our deputies, and I showed him, because that's what I did for 15 years at Newcastle when I worked there as the assistant chief, is budgeting and knowing where the money's at. And so I approached the county commissioners about a pay raise and the excise board, showed them where it could be funded. We went from 47th in the state. We're up tied around 5th in the state now as highest paid for the deputies. I've increased my staff here from 22 full-time deputies. I'm sitting with like 52 full-time now. But I have SROs. I have school resource deputies in every school in this county. And this is something I'm very proud of, because I'm the first sheriff in the state of Oklahoma to have every county school covered. So we have protection for our kiddos. But going back to this bill, you have some sheriff's offices out here that, the sheriff and the undersheriff's making $2,000 a month. And that's not, they don't have no benefits, no insurance or nothing. This is going to help a lot with the smaller sheriff's offices to be able to pay their deputies good pay and get more staffing for the sheriff's office. And that's what we need across the state. We need to have more sheriff's deputies out here, because a lot of times people want to see the sheriff's office and not the police departments, or not the state troopers or OSBI. They want to see the sheriff or the sheriff's office. And whenever one of my deputies is on any kind of call, they're representing my office and me. And that's what the people like. They vote us into office, and I want to make sure that the citizens of Grady County are proud of their sheriff's office. I want to put us, on the map. I have sheriffs from all over now calling me, going, "How did you do? How did you get this program with the SROs? How did you do this? How did you?" And I share it with them. Big thing is working with your county commissioners, having a good working relationship with your county commissioners, and putting, personal issues aside. Uh, I don't get involved in personal issues with any of them. Whenever I talk to them, it's all professional, it's all business. And we have, our three county commissioners are probably the best three county commissioners I've ever worked with. Uh, and if I have a need, I bring it to them, and as long as I can, explain why I need this. Everybody wants everything, but I look at the needs for this county and for my citizens. Uh, you know, just like our SWAT team, revamp the SWAT team when I come in, because I've did this, SWAT for several years. And, in the military, that's kind of what I did in the military, was close combat, quarter combat stuff. And so, we have an excellent SWAT team here now. When we have to do search warrants or raids on these marijuana grows, I send my SWAT team in. Uh, I approached them last year because we needed a new armored vehicle. The one we have is a military one. It runs half the time, and I can't send my deputies, my SWAT team out without armor protecting them. But it's also a rescue vehicle. If we have a citizen that, we have a tornado, I can take that vehicle any place and get to them and get them out of there. Uh, so there's multiple purposes for that. But like I said, the county commissioners, they work really good with me. But your smaller departments, this bill is to help them get funding for deputies, equipment. If they can get enough deputies and they still have some money left over on what their max is, they can utilize that for equipment for their deputies' vehicles. We do lease purchase program here for my vehicles. So I lease them for 3 years. At 3 years, they're paid for and they're ours. Uh, I've changed our fleet up and went to Tahoes, which is what needs to be out here in the county. We don't need, Dodge Chargers out here on a county road that, taking a chance on putting a rock through an oil pan, and then I have to pay for that. So, and we here, like I said, I'm very blessed. The good Lord has blessed us with a good county. We're a very large county, but it's these other sheriff's offices, they need this funding. They need it bad to
Yeah.
be able to bring their staffing up to where they can protect the citizens, and that's the biggest thing, is protecting our citizens. Um, and if you pay a deputy good salary with benefits and everything, and we have a lot of good benefits that we've brought in since I've been in office. We pay for half the spouse and children's insurance now here. So, that's a benefit to keep retention, because insurance is expensive out here. And if we can pay for half of it and they can still make a living, that's what we're trying to do. And, that's what other sheriff's offices across the county or across the state needs to look at doing also. And
Is
this
there
will
any
help.
is there any concern with the bill like this? Because I'm with you 100% for making sure those deputies are paid well. We asked them to come out to our place just the other day. I mentioned to you before we started about had a man walking down the street rummaging through some of our stuff. So we called the deputies. They were out there pronto and handled the situation very well. So love your office and what you guys have been doing. And I want to make sure that deputies across the state are compensated for their good work.
Absolutely.
A concern of mine, and I just wondered your thoughts on this as well, is state involvement in county affairs, and if there'll be any strings attached with this money, and would they then have any say in the way these offices are conducted?
No, absolutely not. There's not going to be no strings attached to this. The thing about it is, and that's one thing with the Sheriff's Association, they make sure there is no strings attached to it. Uh, you know, the state will fund this. They will have to monitor the money where it goes. It's gonna be kind of like a grant application type deal. The sheriff's offices will have to fill the grant stuff out. It has to go to the state, and then the state allocates the money. So the state's going to control the money, absolutely, because it's coming from them. But to tell us, once it's awarded, if you put in your award packet, hey, this is to hire 6 deputies, well, that's what you have to do. If it's to say hire 3 deputies and buy 3 cars, well, then that's what you have to do. There's going to be regulations on it, but for the state to come in and say this is what you're going to do and run the sheriff's office constitutionally, they cannot.
Right, right. Switching just a little bit here, talking about schools covered. You mentioned how you have a deputy in every county school, or every school in the county. What does that look like? You have them just there during the duration of the school hours? Are they patrolling in the general area? What does it look like to have a school covered?
No, the school resource deputies are assigned to the schools. Most of them in my county has their own office in the building where they've got the camera system. They get out, they walk routine patrols around the schools. They'll drive around the schools. If we have, like, say, a school that has multiple buildings, then they'll go patrol around those. I sit here and talk with my arms. Thank goodness you can't see them because my arms are moving. But no, they are assigned to that school. Like basketball games after hours, they actually will be there for those. Track meets, football games, stock shows, any of that, you're going to have one of my deputies at these. And they build up a bunch of comp time. But what we allow them to do in the summer months is to use that comp time to go on vacation and take a break. Just like the teachers need a break, so do these SROs, because they're up there at the schools. And, my SROs, they go and they read to little kids. They go out and they play basketball with the bigger kids. So, the interaction with the students, it makes it a lot better. And it lets the students all know that, hey, we're still human. This is just a job, but we're here to protect them. My deputies will put their life on the line for any of those kids or any of that faculty at those schools, and they're trained. We send every one of our deputies through active shooter training. They go to the range quite often, defensive tactics training. We send them through the gamut of training so that they are eligible or able to protect those students. But we've had the good thing with our SROs is, they make the same money as a field deputy, but that money comes back into our general fund from the schools. It goes back in our general fund. So, the money that I'm spending out of my budget goes right back into general funds, which, helps me keep the deputies there the following year. Every school here, every administrator, I meet with every administrator, every school. I actually go out to the schools when I get a chance and just walk through and, with my SROs, meet the superintendents, the principals, and we visit about any concerns they have. Like I said earlier, with my cancer battle, it kind of hindered me a little bit there. But my undersheriff, he picked up I don't know what was on
there.
Yeah, he picked that up and he
Yeah.
took he made sure we were taking care of our kiddos.
Yeah, I spoke with Commissioner Tipton the other day with the Department of Safety,
Yes.
and he was talking about statewide training that is uniform among
Yes.
all their officers so that they have a quick response to if there were to be a school shooting. Does the Sheriff's Department collaborate with the Department of Safety and troopers in that kind of training?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Matter of fact, we have them actually come and put the training on, so that way,
Okay.
and that's one thing Commissioner Tipton has put in place is he has sent all his troopers that train to these schools to be able to train and come train. And they do have a school that the Department of Public Safety puts on, which is Train the Trainer, which I send my training staff, and they get trained to be instructors in this. So we can actually still train during the year on this. But no, anytime we have a school like that, we get a hold of the training coordinator with the Highway Patrol with Department of Public Safety, and we set up a class. We train with them. Their troopers are, they come up to the schools. They're mandatory 1 hour a week. All of my SROs know who their troopers are in their areas, and they, either have lunch with them, come up, sit and visit with them. So it's a good working relationship, with the Department of Public Safety and Highway Patrol, with my staff.
Okay. No, I really enjoyed the conversation with Tipton and learning about that
Yes.
training to address school issues, school shootings. And so it's good to know our sheriff's department is right there along with that. I thought the uniform training, so everybody knows exactly what to do at the same time, was a good thing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That like I said, that's our primary job is to protect our children.
Yeah,
They're our future, so we want to make sure they're taken care of, and we don't have a shooting incident like in Uvalde. Because I can promise you, if we have an active shooter, we're not going to stand around like happened down there. That was and I don't like to say it's a training lesson, but it is. It's something that
you have
we
to
all,
learn from it.
as far as law enforcement, learn from is don't just stand there. And I can promise you, and I've made this statement several times, if we can't get to an active shooter, I'll run my Tahoe through a wall and get to
Yeah,
that active shooter. I have
whatever it
no
takes.
issues with that one bit, and neither does any of my deputies. We will not stand around. We will not let innocent kids and faculty get killed for no reason. So, I'm very vocal about that, and I stand by my word on that we are going to protect these kids and the student, faculty, uh, you know, whatever means it takes.
Absolutely. Well, and we appreciate that. Um, Addressing the issue of tribes and the jurisdiction of tribes, is that an issue you run into in Grady County? I'm thinking more of in terms of the McGirt case and tribal jurisdiction and any kind of thing like the Strobel case with the ticket, and just curious if that's anything that you guys encounter in Grady County.
We run into it, but we are cross commissioned with Light Horse Police and the tribe, and
Okay.
then I actually have one of my actually my captain over investigation. He's part of the FBI task force with the tribes. Uh, our jail here, of course, I have a jail trust, but they house the tribal inmates or tribal prisoners. When we write a ticket for the tribe, we send it to the tribe. They prosecute them in tribal courts, and then we get the money. If that's the good thing with the tribe. If we write a ticket, then if they find them guilty of what we wrote the ticket for, they pay the fine through the tribe. The tribe actually sends us the money for that.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
about every 4 months, I get a check from the tribe on what tickets we wrote. Uh, but like I said, every one of my deputies are cross commissioned, so we carry a tribal commission with Light Horse, which gives us the right to actually, write the tickets. We can make the arrest. We send all the arrest stuff to the tribal courts and the tribal prosecutors, and they handle it from there.
Okay.
We actually have it where it operates really smooth for us.
Well, and just for the average citizen who knows nothing about the process, if you have a traffic stop or if it escalates into an arrest, um, do you take them to the county jail or are they directed immediately to a tribal jail? What does that look like there?
Well, we like I said, we house tribal. We have a contract with the Chickasaw Nation
Okay.
here at Grady County, so we take them straight to our jail because it's one of the housing facilities for that. Um, and like I said, all of our paperwork that we do instead of going to our district attorney, it goes straight to the tribal prosecutors.
Okay.
Uh, we send it the next morning. If it happens overnight, they get it the next morning. That way, they know they're here, and then they do what they have to do in the tribal court system. Uh, I've had some of my deputies have to go testify in court through the tribe, but it's just normal operating procedure for us. So
Okay. Okay. Well, Sheriff, I appreciate your time here today. I know that you have a busy day just with daily operations, but now also campaigning on top
yes,
of that. So coming into the primaries June 18th, of course, I'll remind everybody to make sure that's on your calendar to go vote, especially you guys in Grady County. Now you know who your sheriff is, and that hey, if you like what you hear, then you need to cast your vote. Make sure you get him in office. And so, how is the campaign going?
it's going good. It's going good. I have no doubt that we'll stay in office. Nothing against my opponent. I've known him for about 25 years. Can't say nothing negative about him. I wouldn't say nothing negative about him even if I knew stuff. I wish him the best. But I think that our office, we've done a lot of things since I've been in office to benefit the citizens here, and I think it's going to show. I think during during the primary is going to show, and I think that we're going to win and stay in office.
All right. Well, best of luck to you, and God bless. We'll continue to pray for you in your office as you serve Grady County.
Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate you.
You bet. All right. It's Gary Boggess. Sorry, get the name right. Appreciate all you guys tuning in to the Jake for the State podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll do it again next time.